One of the best things that you can do in life is to be in service. I've been in service now for 10 years, and I chose this path because this is the truth. 2 angels came into my living room 10 years ago and they asked me what I wanted. Trust me, when you have seen an angel and they talk to you and they ask you a question, you don't question it, because the energy of angels is so truth. It's truth in front of you. And I sat down for a minute because I knew what was about to come out of my mouth was going to be fulfilled. And I thought about it and I said, I know what I want. I want peace in the world. And the angel said to me, if that's what you want, then you have work to do. And I said, I'm ready. And from that day, I've kept my vessel clean, my mind clean, my body clean, in order to serve. And I have saved so many lives. Glory be, thank you. I have saved so many lives. And you know what brought me to that decision? What brought me to the decision of serving? I weighed it up in my head. I didn't just say, hey, this is what I want to do. I weighed it up in my head and I said, you know what? What's the best case scenario for Sofia? I was an actress in India. I did some work here. I was in a couple of BAFTA-nominated productions as lead roles. And I said, you know, I could win an Oscar. I could have a private jet. I could marry somebody famous and I could have lots of children and be very rich. Or I can help save people's lives. I had that choice. And I also thought I could die tomorrow. We all could. I just lost someone close to me recently, very close to me. It was funerals on the weekend. I think I'm going to be in more tears when I get to the funeral. But it's a big story about him, but no one knows when they're going to go. He knew his death was imminent, and so what he chose to do was to enjoy his life. And he partied and he had fun. I mean, he was a DJ. That was his choice, and that was the right choice for him. I know, and I knew, and I feel that, you know what, this life is so important. You're paving the steps in this life for your next life and your next life and your next life. It doesn't end when you leave this current body. I know that for a fact. Whatever muscle you are strengthening now, and this is a mental muscle, a soul muscle, will be something that will continue to grow in your other lives. And there's so much focus on making money. It's almost like the world is split into two right now. Those who are focused on the amass much money, and those who are focused on raising their vibration, their consciousness, their soul. Money is one form of energy. I've never chased money, and I've always got money. I've always had it. I've always had a roof over my head, a good roof, good food. I've always had these things. Well, not always, but they came to me. I had a time of struggle. I had a time where I couldn't afford to buy food for 3 days when I was at university, and the member of family that I gave my student loan to so she could buy a house wouldn't give me money so I could eat. Came from a poor family, a very poor family. But now, I mean, that is remnants of my past. And now I have everything. Why? Because I always kept a pure heart. It's going to take a bit longer than everybody else. But those people who are living lives which are using the energy of greed will eventually, that greed will take them. So I want you to know that a life of service is a life that is deserved. A life of service is a life that prepares you for your next one. Life isn't difficult. You're being told it is. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is telling you something, teaching you something, even illnesses. They tell you to slow down, or they tell you to speak, or they tell you that you've been treated unfairly, and why are you not speaking up? You are blessed right now to be watching this and being alive. Every breath is the breath of divine creator that we are taking. Me and you are taking the same breath. There's not one living thing on this planet that isn't breathing the same breath. We are all part of the one. So live your life as if it was the last, not to bring a downer on your day, to remind you of what's really important. Sending blessings and love.